Hey, what up everybody? Stevie Breach coming to you. Thursday night brings to us the return of the San Francisco 49ers. Let's go! Alright, we are 1-2. Everybody knows the story and the backstory of all of this. The Niners climbed to the top. This is the first time that Jim Harbaugh, as a coach of the San Francisco 49ers, has had a losing record. It's the first time they've ever lost back-to-back games. Yada, 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 this, that, and the other. There are a ton of excuses that you can make for the San Francisco 49ers that are just bullshit. We have the big-time story of Aldon Smith going and checking himself into rehab to try and get over his drinking and marijuana problem. Hoping that Mr. Goodell doesn't catch up to him along the way for the gun possession charges, this, that, and the other as well. The Niners injury list is we already knew Crabtree wasn't going to be playing for a long time. Mario Manningham isn't going to be with the team for a long time. And this season we've seen injuries to Patrick Willis and Vernon Davis, two of our biggest stars. And then we also have Asamoah, who's questionable for this game, who hasn't made the hugest impact this year, but the guy at one point in his career had a whole bunch of potential. He's a very, very smart player, and if he's on the field at the right moment, he could break something up that could be very, very bad for the 49er defense. The one thing that I think is good going for the San Francisco 49ers can't be used against us in the same way. We have had a very shitty last 2 weeks. We looked very good in week 1. We battled back and forth with the Green Bay Packers, another good team. And we looked like we were in the right direction as having another great 2013. Then we've gone these last 2 weeks and we've only put up 10 points against the Seattle Seahawks and the Indianapolis Colts. I'm really hoping that we can dust ourselves off. We can head on into this game that's on Thursday, only having to wait, the small amount of time before you fly to Seattle. You suit up and it's game time. You don't have a real long time to think about the last 2 weeks of getting our butts kicked. The only problem is the Rams are doing the same damn thing. They lost last week to the Cowboys. They lost the week before to a team that I cannot remember who they are. The 49ers have ongoing problems in the clubhouse. It was well known that Frank Gore and Jim Harbaugh had words after Frank Gore started off the game so well and just didn't get any carries anywhere near the end of that game. It just dissolved. The running game was no more. If you can look at last week's game against the Cowboys, I apologize, DeMarco Murray rushed for 175 yards. It could be a good day for Frank Gore in the running game to run over this team. I think that the Rams have a very, very good defense, but it is very easy to run over these guys. If you think about Harbaugh, in my mind though, I've always worried about Harbaugh as the guy who's going to basically hold a grudge. Basically, if he's going to get shown up and it's well known, I think that he holds that for a very long time, and you got to wonder if he's going to freeze Frank Gore at all, and maybe do what's best for him instead of the football team. I don't like to think like that. I'm hoping that Frank Gore can have a really, really big game, and we can move on from there. Colin Kaepernick as a quarterback, his first game. He threw for well over 400 yards. Most of those balls were thrown at Antoine Bolden, who had over 200 yards receiving with the touchdown catch against the Packers. And the last 2 weeks has had 6 receptions, 5 of those coming last week for only 74 yards and no touchdowns. You can look at those two teams as having really good corners. I think the Seahawks have one of the best cornerbacks in all of football, and the Colts as well. That really, really locked down on him. But Bolden is a good quarterback. He needs to look at these films, see how he's getting locked down. If it's the cornerbacks, the safeties, are they, doubling them up because the weak side of only Kyle Williams and Patton and a few other guys. When you look at Kaepernick's quarterback rating when he throws the Bolden, is off the charts. It's almost picture perfect. When he throws to his other receivers, I believe it's 18. There's no mistake. 18. 1-8. That is all. If you've read the stories online, Kaepernick is saving tweets that is sent to him that are of negative, and he's trying to use those as to pump himself up to have a big game. Honestly, in my mind, there's actually a fucking hashtag on Twitter. Go check it right now about sitting Kaepernick. I can't remember exactly what it was. I retweeted it last night. And then bringing in our quarterback. If everybody can remember back to the Alex Smith years, and basically everybody chanting to bench Alex Smith to bring in David Carr. David Carr. You didn't want David Carr, and I think that we have a very, very good backup quarterback. When we brought him in and he signed with us from the Browns, I thought of him as like a good steal to have. But honestly, when you have a guy like Kaepernick out there, you don't need to have anybody else. You don't want the backup out there. It's just no. If Kaepernick gets hurt, if he breaks a leg, if he pulls a muscle in his arm, hey, I'm all for it. Hey, the guy's good. He was good in college. The Browns never really gave him that much to play with. But we can move in the right direction, and we'll see what we got, and we'll go from there. We're not going to lay down on anybody. But to play the backup quarterback, you gotta be fucking kidding me. Yeah, that's just dumb. That's just dumb football. The Rams have one of the best coaches in the league, Jeff Fisher. Honestly, in my mind, Harbaugh is my guy because he coaches the 49ers, but in my mind, Fisher has done a whole bunch with a whole lot less with his years with the Tennessee Titans. It's only a matter of time before he really, really turns his Rams team around. I can honestly say that the Rams' record the last 2 years under Fisher hasn't been what I thought it was, but he's not coming back to waste his time coaching a loser. This guy knows what it takes to get the team to the Super Bowl. He's been able to get young teams that have barely played together. The Titans, for the longest time, had one of the youngest rosters in the league, and be able to get them. It always was funny with the Titans. You'd always start out a season 0-3 and 0-4, and you'd be sort of write them off, like, I guess this isn't the year of the Titans, and then, you come down to playoffs, and you're like, oh, fuck, the Titans made it. Good God. And once you get there, it doesn't matter what your record is in the NFL playoffs. It's a whole new season. It's a whole new ball game. Teams that, go 13-3, 14-2, they get injuries, and they're not the same team once they make the playoffs. Some teams get hot near the end, and you can't find a way to stop them. It's crazy, and you know how it is. Basically, if you're watching this, you're a football fan. I have high hopes for the San Francisco 49ers. I believe they're going to win this football game. I picked them in my pick'em pool. I pick them in my heart because they're my San Francisco 49ers. It's going to suck. I really don't believe the Rams are a 1-3 football team, but when I look at the 49ers, I don't believe they're a 1-3 team either. I believe this is going to be a coming out party for us. We're going to need it because we follow up this game going and playing, I believe, at Houston at Reliant Stadium, home of WrestleMania 25 against the Texans, and we're going to need a win there too. So this is Stevie Breach. Talk to you guys after Thursday. Peace out.